We are live from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Me and my colleague Lau Nelson, and as you mentioned, Al-Hadi Hawari. Guests in our mini studio this morning are retired Bishop Enok Tombe and also Sheikh Nebi Khamis. It's good to have both of you with us in the studio this morning. Welcome to Sheikh Nebi Khamis. It's good to have.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So.
Yes. Retired Bishop, let me begin with you. And we've just heard a while ago from the Deputy Chief Mediator, Dr. Ambassador Muhammad Ali Guyo, who mentioned progress yesterday. And it was a long day, actually, about more than 10 hours discussion, and both of you were involved. So how was the atmosphere yesterday, and how would you describe what happened yesterday after the parties agreed on the 4 agenda items, Bishop?
Thank you. Before I respond to your question, I want to read first readings from the Bible,
yes,
from Psalm 46, 7 to 11, to remind that we cannot have peace without God. It reads, "The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars cease. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge." This verse assures us that no matter what happens, whether in war or in peace, God is present. We don't have to talk. We just be silent. We don't have to be worried because He knows everything. In response to your question, in fact, let me say, on Saturday, last week, when we started to get the overview from we were going through the process of even the agenda. The language was not good. I personally was not happy, and in fact, there was a suggestion that because the government has changed its delegation from the old one to the new one, except for 2 members from the old one, it would have been good if the mediation had given us the same opportunity to do confidence building measures, because the language was hostile. In fact, one of the delegates from the opposition proposed it, but the mediation, I think, probably did not take note. We reviewed it actually after that session, and people urged me that, Bishop, why don't you request the parties as well as the mediation to give you a chance, like last time, at least for a day, so that these people can vomit out their grievances. So I said, well, that is okay. I will take it up. The second thing is that, unlike the previous delegation, this new delegation chose to stay away from Gili Hotel. When they first came last year, they stayed in Serena Hotel. So they did not interact with the opposition as the first delegation, not only during meetings, but even during eating, during short breaks and so on. Thirdly, we had wished that they should have come also attend Sunday services with us, ecumenical services. So we have also communicated to the mediation our views on the agenda, and I'm happy that the agenda came out as we expected, including the root causes of the conflict, which actually came from the stakeholders. Because the first day when they met on Saturday, 25th of January, the government delegation was saying, we don't know the root cause of the conflict. Where is it? And as somebody who has been in these talks, I was really surprised because the protocols came as a result of root causes. There were actually 4 thematic areas: governance and responsibility sharing, which has not been addressed up to now; economic recovery; justice; and security sector reforms. When you arrive with Sheikh Jaranebi and Dr. Jongayo on the 24th of May 2024, we found out that they've already agreed on those 4 thematic areas, which actually indicate the root causes. You can, of course, unpack them. You can go into details and so on. So today, they're going to unpack them if they succeeded to finish with the issue of the name. Also, the mediation suggested that all these things, you need to have laws. So they proposed cross-cutting theme of permanent constitution-making process. Because up to now, South Sudan has no permanent constitution. The one we have, this is what we borrowed from Sudan. It's called interim. Whatever you do is just temporary. It's not our constitution. We're just borrowing, and that's why we are working without laws. We are almost lawless society, so to speak. So, yesterday, the language a bit was better, and the mediation allowed people to talk on both sides. But still, there were some people who, I think, probably, I don't know what that's the way, it's their nature. In fact, one of them walked out. Conflict always starts with words. Jesus said, it starts from your heart before you come and implement it. So, but overall, I think they agreed on the 4-point agenda, which is very good.
Right.
But they couldn't agree on the name. It took 4 hours alone to discuss the name, and then that's why the mediation said, okay, let us adjourn to today. So I hope they will resolve it today.
So when you say the name, we're referring to the name of somebody branding to UPA?
Not only that, even the government, because the opposition said, okay, they've changed their name, yes, and that's their right, but who are you, even you? Because the government sent the first delegation and then changed it. So, and some of the people who are in the government delegation were clearly opposing the Tumaini as they were monitoring from here. So anyway, the government responded that the RT-GONU is based on RRCs, so it's a coalition of parties who signed the agreement, and the opposition said, well, in the same way, when they were invited to Rome as individual parties, there they created their own name called SOMA, South Sudan
Coalition
and so on. In the same way, when they came here, they were invited as individual parties, and therefore, when the government was still in Juba from August, they thought it wise to unite. That's why they gave themselves the name United People Alliance. So they're an alliance just like the coalition.
Right. Now, Sheikh جارنبي خلينا نجيك يعني برضو ناخذ نظرة منك من ناحية بتاعت تقييمك للإجراءات حتى الآن ووصلنا وين وشنو اللي احنا متوقعين انه يحصل في خلال اليوم.
اوكي طيب، في البداية أنا بحيي كل المستمعين في جنوب السودان في كل المناطق. نقول لكم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صحيح يعني في تقييمي أنه كونه الأطراف تصل الاتفاق على الأجندة هذا كان خطوة إيجابي شديد، لأن يعني كان من الصعب يصل للاتفاق ده. الإجراءات القبال كان يعني بدأ بطريقة التقارب بين طرفين كان من الصعب يصلوا لنقطة ده، لأن كان الحكومة قدم الورقة حقهم والمعارضة ردة، وده يقدم ده يرد، وكله بين الرد ورد كان بتاخد يومين، وكان مسألة ده بتنتهي كده. لأن يعني بنلاحظ بأن كان ما في صيغة، يعني صيغة بين الطرفين، كان في تباعد كبير جدا بين الاثنين. لكن كونه هو يصل للاتفاق على الأجندة، ونحن بنهني كل الطرفين لأن ده خطوة إيجابي. مهما كان لغة بين الاثنين ديل، إلا أن ناس طالما يقعدوا في طاولة تفاعل الحوار، أنا متأكد بيصلوا للاتفاق في نهاية الأمر. وصحيح يعني اتفقوا على الأجندة، والأجندة معروفة، ونمرة واحد الاسم بين الاسم الجديد. يمكن ده السبب اللي خلى الحكومة تعلب بأن المجموعات المعارضة عملوا تحالف وسموا التحالف UPA، تحالف الشعب المتحد، وكانوا هما أحزاب 4 أحزاب مختلف. والاسم ده يعني ما بيكون صح، لأن يعني احنا بدينا باسم معين وتفجأ كده غيرت اسم. يعني مثلا ده بيأثر حتى في التوقيعات الاتفاق. وبرضو المعارضة بيشوف أن الحكومة الوحدة الوطنية هما هما مجموعة من التحالف، مجموعة من الأحزاب. برضو هما دارين يعرفوا الناس في الموجودين في التحالف في حكومة الوحدة الوطنية، حتى بيقدروا يتعاملوا مع بعض. ولحد الآن امبارح كان أخذ يوم كله في مسألة الاسم ده، لحد امبارح نهاية اليوم ما وصلوا للاتفاق بين الاسم الجديد والأسماء دي. ونحن بنعمل اليوم الطرفين تصل للاتفاق، لأن مسألة حقيقة بالنسبة لنا مسألة بسيط حقيقة يعني، لكن احنا بنرى على أساس بأن الصيغة بين الطرفين كان ده مشكلة حقيقية. لأن إذا حتى كان جاء يعني احنا ما عندنا صيغة بين الاثنين، حتى كان جاء منك حاجة كويسة ما مقبول، وده حاجة طبيعة الإنسان. طالما في صيغة بمعنى في حسن النوايا، بالتالي يعني احنا زي ما ذكر المطران كان في بداية الإجراءات لقينا بأن جاب كبير بين مجموعات المعارضة والحكومة. بالتالي كان الناس عملوا حاجة اسمه بروتوكول بناء صيغة بين الطرفين، لأن سمعنا منهم كلهم الاثنين ناس طلعوا لندن وناس تكلموا كجنوبيين، لأن في نهاية الأمر يعني هنا بنرى مصلحة حقنا في جنوب السودان هو السلام، والسلام بيهمنا. يعني احنا جينا هنا كرجال الدين وكستيكهولدر، يعني احنا جينا بمصلحة، يعني احنا دايرين الطرفين دي تصل للسلام وتصل للاتفاق. بالتالي عشان لأن السلام هو مطلب الجميع، يعني احنا دايرين جنوب السودان يكون دولة يكون فيه سلام، عشان بعد ذاك زول يقدر يلقى حقه، لأن السلام ده بيخش وده مطلب الجميع، وخاصة احنا رجال الدين. احنا بنعمل في تقريب وجهات النظر بين الطرفين على أساس ناس تصلوا للأهداف المرجوة هو السلام لجنوب السودان.
Bishop, let me come to you. Why can the stakeholders, especially you, request the mediation for a few hours or one day, just like what happened with the previous government delegation, to conduct these confidence-building measures to pave the way for a smooth discussion or negotiation?
We actually requested to meet the mediation alone, that is mediation, the stakeholders, but he was so busy, so he didn't give us the chance on Monday. So we are still waiting. We hope we will get the chance, but it also will depend on how the parties are behaving. For example, in the morning Even the mediator say, I don't want this ping pong way of negotiation.
Who said that?
The mediator.
The mediator.
This ping pong. You kick the ball and then that one kick the ball. The papers, basically what Sheikh have said.
Yes.
You respond in writing, then they say he doesn't want this. He want face to face. But again now, instead of papers, it's now become verbal. The ping pong has now gone into verbal. As I said, until one member of the opposition walked out because he could not bear this ping pong. So we will continue monitoring, and also, if I get the chance, I will try to talk to the chief mediator to give us the chance. Basically, to at least give us a day to talk alone, because all those personal issues we have heard. What happened when they were colleagues in the bush, they were comrades, yesterday they were appealing, please let us respect each other, but words keep coming up, which means that there should be room for confidence building measures, at least for a day. It was good that the resource person have given the overview how this protocol actually came to come. We have also heard how the high-level standing committee for implementation of the roadmap actually dealt with the documents, the report of the first delegation. They said they were doing what they call delete those things which are repetitive. That one will anyway come in the next agenda if they finish. I mean the third agenda if they finish.
The relationship between the RRCs and...
Yes. So yesterday also on my own, I have requested the contact number of the government delegation so that if we are still here on Sunday, I will invite them for those who are willing to come for prayers. So I personally met the head of the delegation, General Coleman Yangjuk, and he has no objection for those who want to pray, although he said he's free. Anyone who wants to come, he would come. So I'm left now with the one thing, that is to request the mediation. Last time it was he who requested. So now it's with the opposite. We are going to request because we have seen it.
نعم. شيخ موضوع بتاع بناء الصيغة ده يعني كلام بتاع بينج بونج اللي بيشوف ذكره قبل شوية، طبعا يعني النقاش دائما دي شيء متوقع انه هيكون في مواجهات، بدل ما كان بقى بأوراق بقى في مواجهات يعني وجها لوجه. من وجهة نظركم كرجال دين ده بودينا وين؟ وده حل بتشوف انه ده ممكن يأخر في النقاش في الأجندة ده، لأنه احتمال أجندة واحد يشيل عدد من الأيام زي ما أنت ذكرته امبارح، يعني ساعات كتير بس عشان الناس يتفقوا للتسمية بتاعت البارتيز، حتى الناس ما يتفقوا عليه من رغم انهم يتفقوا على الأجندات. دور بتاع stakeholder شنو خاصة رجال الدين هنا؟
اوكي. مسألة البناء الصيغة واحد من مشاكل جنوب السودان حقيقة، لأن طالما صيغة لسه بعيد بيناتهم، وحيكون أنا متأكد الإجراءات هتأخر، لأن وقت جينا من بداية البرنامج كان بدينا بجلوس في بروتوكول، حتى صممنا بروتوكول بناء صيغة، وفي البروتوكول كان بينت مشكلة الجنوب شنو في بناء صيغة، حدد زي 12 مشكلة أساسية، منه عصبة القيادة، منه الوعود السياسيين بيتكلموا ما بينفذوا، وبعدين الأقوال بيختلف من الأفعال، وبعدين مشكلة الأراضي، مشاكل حدد مشاكل أساسية موجودة في بروتوكول. عشان كده وكيت الوفد الجديد جاء صحيح وعندهم نسخ من الورق ده، وكان من الضرورة على أساس نرجع نراجع يجي نعمل ريفيشن لبروتوكول تبع الصيغة حتى يصل للمستوى اللي يمكن الوفد الأول وصل عليه، وكان الناس وصلوا لتجارب وجهات نظر بين وفدين الحكوميين، لأن ناس في النهاية يعني احنا يعني تبي تلقى مشكلة وين؟ مشكلة بأن إذا شفت كل طرف يعني هنا كستيكهولدر او رجال الدين احنا بنعرف مشكله الحكومه ومشكله المعارضه، جلسنا كله بينهم، لقينا بان الفرق بينهم ما كبير، يعني جاب بسيط جدا، لكن مساله التصيغه بيناتهم هو مساله بعيده كله بعد، عشان نتقرب حسن النوايا يكون موجوده معهم ويكون يصلوا للاتفاق بطريقه اسرع، وده حقيقه بيخلي الاجراءات ترجع، لان هسه حنرجع تاني في مراجعه لبناء صيغه زي ما ذكر بطران، على اساس بان جماعه ديل لازم ان احنا نراجع للبروتوكول بناء صيغه، وبعد ذاك نحاول نقرب وجهات نظر بيناتهم. ويمكن ده ولدت في الاجنده المتفق عليه جذور المشكله، وجذور المشكله اصلا في البدايه وكي جينا في اول بروسيس كان قدم تقرير من 73 صفحه، وكان بينت لان اصل حقه هو راجع الريفرنس الاساسي هو البروتوكول المنشط ل 2018 يعني ارسس، وراجع ارسس ولقى جاب بيناتهم، لقى مشكله ليه الناس ما نفذوا بعد البنود الاساسيه في الاتفاقيه المنشطه الحاليه هذا.
نعم.
وليه نسبه التنفيذ اقل من 20% او اقل من 50% في بعض البنود.
Or before the Pope actually came to Juba in February 2023, the South Sudan Council of Churches lobbied for the 4 political leaders, including Salva Kiir Mayardit, Dr. Riek Machar, Rebecca Nyandeng, and Taban Dengai, to Rome for a retreat. And that was in April 2019. And those who watch the video, like me, the YouTube, the Pope even kissed their feet after 1 week of retreat. And then they promised that they will work for peace. I was very lucky, I was briefed by the late Archbishop Paul Nologudu. When he came back, he called for me and said, Bishop, now we have actually witnessed what happened, but we don't know what to do. I said, we have grace. Why don't you follow up? Because like people like Taban Dengai promised that now he's a born-again politician. So why don't you follow up together with the Archbishop Badi and the other heads of churches? So it's through the initiation from the churches. Then the Pope himself came to Juba to follow up after 3 years. And he found out that nothing happened. So our leaders even lied to the Pope, you know. And I was worried because people asked me, now, Bishop, what is going to happen? I said, because if you listen to somebody like that, high level, he has not done it even in the whole world. It's like a prophet. So if you don't take his word seriously, you get the curse. So we are actually cursed. So if I were these leaders, the first thing is for them to go to confess in the churches, so that God forgive us, forgive the country. So why is it taking long? Here, of course, after the Rome Forum, mediated by San Egidio community, there was nothing, no progress, apart from citizen agreement as well as agreement principles. So the government abandoned the Rome talks and then came to Nairobi to request Ruto to mediate. Yes, for the first time we are now attended with my colleague Sheikh Jaranebi, but we were not in the Rome talks, so we were witnesses here, and we found out the issue of the confidence building. Now, I have been reading some books when I was at home. Somebody has written a book about our culture, that because we have fought liberation wars since 1955 up to 2005, our culture has become violent, and also we have become traumatized. So to remove this trauma and change the culture of violence to culture of peace, you need probably over 50 years. So that's why it's taking too long.
And Suleiman was asking you, Bishop, directly, why can't you pray, or the religious leaders pray against corruption? They're tired of leaders who are corrupt. That's according to him.
Yeah, I think Jesus said actually it's not only prayer. in Matthew chapter 7, those of you who know the Bible, chapter 7 and verse 7, he say, you ask, seek and knock. We are lucky that the chairperson of the Anti-Corruption Commission is with us here, Professor Paulins. She was there in that office, and we were asking her actually why the Anti-Corruption Commission was not dealing with this matter. For example, the 4.5 billion US dollars which the president actually reported to the parliament, and I was there listening to the news. The government reported, and then the parliament said, okay, those who are corrupt should be taken to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Those who are still in the government, those who have left the government should be taken to court. I tell you, the speaker of the government spokesman, when you the press asked him, say now, can you please confirm what the president have said and the parliament said? He said no, the president was misquoted. You know, we are behaving exactly like the Arabs in Khartoum. We say one thing and then we contradict each other. So the issue of lying, we cannot pray that when you break the law of God, like lying, for example, or stealing, in this issue of corruption, it is God to judge. We cannot pray them out because we are also sinners. So what we are doing as pastors or as bishops is that we try to encourage them, like I've been doing now here on Sundays, as well as during opening prayer, during the meetings. We try to share the word of God, and then it's a free choice. God doesn't kill the people. You know, want to give the sinners the chance to repent, to change their mind. So what we are doing is that we keep reminding them. We hope that one day they will change.
نعم. Alright, let me Sheikh خلينا نجيك في بعض من الأسئلة أنت كتبت قبل ممكن تجاوب عليهم طبعا.
نعم. في سؤال من سليمان على أساس الإرادة السياسية ما موجودة في political will بالنسبة للسياسيين ودور رجال الدين شنو في ذلك. احنا بنقول احنا كرجال الدين ما حنغير الإرادة السياسية للسياسيين، لكن احنا عندنا دور على أساس ان احنا نحاول نولد بيناتهم الإيمان، إرادة الإيمان، وفيه مبادئ، لأن كل الأديان فيه مبادئ: الوفاء بالوعد، الالتزام بالعهود والمواثيق، والمسؤولية وخوف من ربنا، لأن في النهاية الإنسان لازم يعمل حاجة كويس في الدنيا عشان بكرة في الحياة ده وما بيعيش للأبد، عشان لما يقابل ربنا يقابل بوجه كويس. بالتالي يزول بيعمل حاجة كويس، بيلتزم بالعهود وبيلتزم بالحقوق وبيعمل حاجة كويسة بيساعد على الوطن. ده شيء. الشيء الثاني في سؤال قال ما الاختلاف بين توميني شنو والاتفاق الوارثة. التوميني من بداية هجينا يعني ما قائم، هو ما اساسا هو اتفاقية قائم بذاته. احنا لأن في الدولة احنا قلنا ما حيكون في اتفاقيين، خاصة الاتفاقية الأول ما منفذ كامل. عشان كده كان توميني قد تشوف في الفجوة في الاتفاق الحالية. المشكلة وين؟ ليه الحاجات الناس قاعد يلتزموا فيه اتفاقية جيد ونحن ما قاعدين ننفذوا؟ عشان كده توميني كان أسس على آليات تقوية الآليات الجديدة على أساس ينفذوا هذه الاتفاقية ونفذوا الالتزام في زمن المحدد. وإذا شفت توميني يعني كله بيشوف الفجوة، الناس ما نفذوا شنو، وبعد ذاك يشوف المشكلة وين، ليه الناس ما نفذوا، وبعد ذاك يحدد الآليات. السؤال الأخير داير أجاوب عليه. في واحد أشار على أساس بأن هو داير نظام الكونفدرالية، وفي الاتفاق على أساس الناس اتفقوا على أساس النظام يكون نظام فيدرالي، واتفقوا على أساس في الدولة لأن عندنا دستور انتقالي هيكون في دستور دائم، هيكون في انتخابات، ومسألة النظام الفيدرالي بعد ذاك يعطوا النظام، لان النظام الفيدرالي في نوع من يتو دايرين يعطوا النظام
مختلفه طبعا،
عندنا نظام مختلف، وبعدين يجي يسالوك يجي يقول بأننا احنا دايرين النوع الفلاني عشان بعد ذاك ده النظام حقتنا كجنوبيين.
نعم. حاجة بسيط, briefly, Bishop, I would like you to comment. We have about 4 minutes to wind up. Someone was saying the Tumaini is a waste of resources. Let them go back to Juba. What would you say in that regard? And this brings us also the issue of funding for Tumaini. Yes.
What we know is that the money is not coming from South Sudan to finance the Tumaini. It was first from the partners, and now yesterday we were told this is now even from Kenya. Kenya is funding the process as a matter of foreign policy. They want to have peacemaking as well as peacekeeping as their foreign policy. So they have a budget for it, so it's not money from South Sudan. Okay. But we could have learned and then manage even our money well, but you can see even we cannot pay even salaries. So there's a problem of how we manage our resources. So it's not, we are not wasting the money to money, but we are wasting money in our own country. The issue of corruption, which was mentioned. But also I want to say the difference between Tumaini and RRCs. There are two things which came up: confidence building measures protocol, and then communal conflicts, armed civilians, and land disputes. These are unique.
All right. 30 seconds each for your last message, Sheikh. ممكن نديك آخر فرصة قبل ما نرجع لاستديوهاتنا الرئيسية. رسالتك الأخير بيكون شنو في حلقة؟
الرسالة الأخير أن احنا دايرين الناس يخطوا عمل، لأن العمل بكرة بيكون أحسن. صحيح كمواطنين الناس تعبوا في مسألة الهروبات ومسألة النزاعات، ولكن احنا ناخد ربنا قدام وناخد امل على اساس بان بكره بيكون افضل لجنوب السودان. وانا هادرين دورة ده يعني احنا كمواطنين كلنا نتابع الاتفاقيه ده دقه بدقه دقيقه بدقيقه، وانا هادرين كل اراكم على اساس احنا دايرين نقول للسياسيين ديل يا جماعه احنا دايرين نشوف لمصلحه الوطن ومصلحه المواطن، والدور ده احنا دايرين سلام حقيقي.
Right, Bishop, briefly, last message.
Yeah, actually, we have suggested that we should pray and fast to God. I agree with that. So we'll invite all the churches, and including even the mosques, to really mobilize for prayer so that God can guide our political leaders together with all of us.
Right. Sheikh Jar Nebi Khamis, retired Bishop Enok Tombe, thank you both for joining us on the Dawn today from our mini studio in Nairobi. Thank you.